ready to embrace the magical side of life, where anything is possible and the infinite is accessible to all? Let's have a conscious conversation about what's going on in the world, in your life, and your relationship from the expanded perspective of your soul. The path to awareness begins and ends in the heart. So let's take it there, one step at a time, and learn to cultivate magic in your life every single day. In each episode, we share a collective space in which we discover the unique facets of our own magic and embody our superhuman qualities by humbly exploring how it's super simply to be human. Hosts Kai and Del co-create a magical experience to remind you that you are magical as fuck. Now, be unleashed. This is our daily magic.
And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Daily Magic podcast. As you heard with the intro, hello there, first timer. Don't know your name because it doesn't show who you are, but we appreciate you. I'm going to actually see who it is live so I can give you a personal shout out. This is the candid thing about doing live interviews. People are going to show up synchronistically. They're going to have whatever they're going to say, be how they're going to be, but it's all meant to be here. But it helps to make this conversation very engaging. And it's going to be a very, very amazing conversation. So thank you, Crimson. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. So I'm very excited for this episode. This is about to be another magical conversation. And what I suggest for you to do is to listen to this with the intention to discover more magic into your life. And from this powerful conversation with this powerful being that we're about to talk to, you're going to be able to find something in your magic that you can resonate with and ask your questions, keep the comments going. It's going to be very, very engaging. So with that being said, let's get into it.
Who are you?
I am Del. Well, I go by the identity of Del. So, and you are?
I go by the name Kai. And I have the honor and pleasure to introduce our guest, who goes by the name Simon Deacon. Simon is a professional energy healer and intuitive counselor and an artist based in Manhattan, New York City. He's a certified vortex healer and an official wizard of the Merlyn lineage. Vortex Healing Institute since 2001, certified Reiki master since 2005, and an intuitive healer. Like, he's been in the game for quite some time. He has a professional healing practice in the West Village. He is MI certified, manifesting intention. This is the most powerful of the vortex healing levels of certification to be on. Like, Simon is an energy healing, vortex healing is an energy healing modality that channels powerful divine healing energy and a deeper essence of magical divine consciousness. Vortex healing creates powerful, accelerated, and multidimensional healing for the deepest of blocks, negative patterns, karma, and emotional trauma. It heals and transforms the very fabric of your reality. And just to top it all off, Simon also has a BA in illustration from the School of Visual Arts, as well as a BA in theater from Wagner College. Is it Wagner or Wagner? Wagner, okay. Just checking.
And I did a little research, and I didn't know that you graduated from the same high school as me, Morristown High School.
Morristown High School? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Class of 89.
Nice. 03. Go Colonials.
Yeah, my brother was in the band.
Really?
Yep, he was dressed up as a Colonials band member.
Nice. She was a band member too.
Yep.
Okay. I'm very happy to be here. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just curious, since what had you make the pilgrimage from Morristown to Manhattan?
I first actually Wagner College was in Staten Island, so I spent 4 years there. But I realized that I wasn't going to pursue a career in theater, so I switched majors and became an illustration major at the School of Visual Arts here in Manhattan. And I love Manhattan. Manhattan and I were a perfect fit. As I was exploring the art world, trying to be an illustrator, but also going into the trying to go into the art gallery profession. I took my first certifications in Reiki in '97. I took my first vortex healing certification in 2001. This is when I was working a lot of jobs in the art gallery world, just a lot of places interning and such. By the time I had reached my third certification in vortex healing, that's when I began to see that all other avenues of this other career in art gallery were starting to shut down. I couldn't find a job to save my life. And but the universe was definitely showing me the signs of, like, people were showing interest in getting an energy healing from me. And by the time, like I said, by the time I'd reached my third certification in vortex healing, that's when there were no jobs in art gallery world to be found. That's when I just sort of, like, I had a little, got really stressed out, had a little meltdown. But that's when I experienced my first sort of like spiritual surrender to realize, okay, yes, opening up my healing practice is the number one thing that I need to do. It is my number one calling on my path. And after I chose that, everything became just far more easier. Just everything became far more clearer. That's when you know what you're on your spiritual path. That's when you know when you're on your highest path. When just even when you're, the fear of struggling is not doesn't bother you as much, or strike you as stressful or anxious as much, because you know you're on that high level. So, and New York City is perfect. It's the perfect place to do healing.
Yeah. And I see a picture behind you. Is that Keith Haring or Keith Haring-esque?
That is Keith Haring. That is another lovely synchronicity right there, because I do love Keith Haring. He did go to the School of Visual Arts. He first started off as like many New York City artists. He would do little graffiti on the walls and walls and buildings to make himself known. People are still doing that. And I remember I was walking down the street with a friend of mine at the time, and we walked past the pop shop where he was all his Keith Haring items were being displayed. And that's when we went in and realized that was the last day of the store. If we hadn't coincidentally walked past that store, it would have shut down and we would have known it. So I bought that wonderful poster on the last day of the store, and it's also I framed it, and it's also infused with magic. There is, through vortex healing, the magic of vortex healing, there is also a what is called a divine door that I've also put into the picture.
Okay, so that sounds like the perfect entryway to start talking about what it is that you do and how it is that you infuse the world with who you are.
Okay. Okay. I first saw just vortex healing as just something to add, to do on the side, you know, as a, you know, just for fun, maybe do it for myself or for others. But by the time I got to my third and fourth uh, uh, certification, I began to see how truly powerful it really was. Not just how it healed other people, but also what it does for you. Because uh, with each transmission that you take, or attunement, like Reiki, with each transmission that you take, it opens your system to channel a deeper level of divinity, and uh, and with that, it not only do you have this very powerful access to channel this very powerful divine healing energies, and this deep essence of magical divine consciousness, it also creates a very powerful awakening in your system. So not only is it an energy healing modality, it's also an awakening lineage, which is very powerful. And I think it's a wonderful example of, I think, uh, this modality and many other modalities, many other transmission that are going on this planet, definitely reflect of the incredible awakening that's going on this planet. It's not a coincidence, especially what's happened in these past 2 years. The timing of it, for very powerful and servants, and to really come together to help shift the consciousness of the planet. But for vortex healing, it channels also very powerful divine healing energies, but like I said, a very powerful essence, what is called magical divine consciousness. And when I channel that into your system, it's not just a releasing surface blocks, like what's blocking the chakras or what's damaging the aura. It goes into the deepest levels of negative conditioning that create the most deepest negative issues in your life, the deepest issues of trauma, the deepest issues of negative patterns, uh, and even it also releases karmic karmic issues, and from that comes one of the most greatest healing acceleration that one will experience, because this is a very powerful divine essence. So therefore, the deeper the deeper the divinity, the deeper the magical divinity that is being healed and released and awakened within your system is. Excuse me.
So how do you, as a human being, like cope with and integrate being exposed to this expansive consciousness?
Oof, a lot of patience. Because that is that's a very. I love how you worded that, because with as you extend through the certifications, from the basic, all the way up to manifesting intention. There's also extends classes which also help to deepen the awakening, the awakening which goes on in your system. And it started very early. That's when I began to see how truly powerful and formidable this modality was, because it was releasing at a very accelerated rate all the unresolved negative issues with me, all the unresolved trauma. Uh, I mean, when I first started out in vortex healing, I was dealing with terrible issues of anxiety. I was having terrible anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I was dealing with crippling insecurity, unresolved issues of emotional immaturity, uh, very bad negative patterns of who I attracted, porous boundaries, attracting the wrong people, and vortex healing just accelerated me through all those issues. Just really brought it to the surface to confront it. And it just amazes me, because there was a time in which I thought that I was going to be just sort of like, my fate was to be this rather very neurotic, insecure individual, constantly kind of losing it at a moment's notice. And it just brought a powerful healing and peace within my system, which was so incredible. And also the awakening in which it also created. Uh, where there's a part of you that's actually there's a part of you that's in this beautiful place of freedom. That's sort of like acknowledging, there's a part of you on a core level that's acknowledging, that this is all an illusion, and you're centered and rested in this place of freedom. You still feel pain, and you still sometimes react, but you go back to that freedom in which the transmissions create.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So as a practitioner, like, when do people typically come and see you? Is it when they're feeling particularly restricted, conflicted, not free? What's a really good time to see you?
Definitely. Definitely when you're blocked, definitely when things aren't going your way. It doesn't have to be a dire emergency, but I like to call it drilling because that's what it is. We go deep. We go deep. Okay. I'd say I say to my clients, commit yourself to 3 healing sessions. And with those 3 healing sessions, we are able to go through the vortex healing protocol. And the vortex healing protocol is very detailed, very, very extensive. So many levels of negative conditioning can be released. So many levels of how negative conditioning imprints itself within our consciousness, imprints itself within our body and our system and our emotional bodies. A whole level of karmic issues in terms of the release of karma knots and the karmic body. All a total freeing of the patterns and the blueprints which create a negative reality that is released too. Where you are feeling truly stuck, and even those places where you think that you probably would be stuck forever. That's because I know I felt that, and a lot of people feel that. That is what a lot of people start to realize. Like, wow, this place where I'm usually reacting from a place of trigger, it's no longer there anymore. This place where I thought would was always be there. This way of feeling of how I view myself. The vortex healing just totally frees itself that way. Just those places where you really want to, where you feel truly stuck on the deepest levels, just truly stuck and in pain. That's where it goes to just it's kind of like it's kind of like a deep energetic surgery. That's what vortex healing is.
It also sounds a bit like you're talking about the balance between being and doing. Is there any particular way that you balance that in your own life? Like, how much do you sit back and, in that non-triggered space, and just be peace? And then how much do you decide to actually be in action and do? What does that look like for you?
That is a very good question, because in the beginning you begin to see how much of your actions is aligned through your negative conditioning or the old patterns or the old trauma. So much, you begin to see how so much was aligned with fear and lack and not feeling you're good enough, or not feeling worthy, or not feeling that you're loved. You begin to see all those things that which you're aligned with, which no longer serve you, and you have to. And vortex healing powerfully brings that into your awareness. Yes, there are times in which you experienced a bit of an identity crisis, because what you thought was you was not you. You were identifying with this illusion within you, which was not you. You were identifying with the ego. You were identifying with your trauma. You were identifying with negative beliefs or negative attachments in personality, and you have to sort of like sift through what wasn't, what is not you, and what is now truly you in this place. What is called being. And even now I am still learning that. There are times in which I thought, okay, great, I'm finally free. I'm finally free of the old patterns. I'm finally free of the old traumas, all the things that make me insecure. But the divine consciousness that is Merlin, or just the universe in general, just shows me, nope, there's another level to go, and I'm definitely experiencing that now. I'm headed on a new level of my career as I continue with with clients. I'm bringing all my talents into the fold. My artwork is now back into my life. My artwork, my writing, and again, I'm experiencing this time where, and I definitely think this time of crisis, everything that's going on, with the pandemic and just everything that's going on. There's this terrible time of uncertainty for everyone. That has definitely affected my practice as well. And as I wait to get to this next level, of course, it brings up all this fear, and and that's when I see that that the universe is again confronting me, that there is another level where my ego is still trying to control. So that's when I have to surrender my control of what's going on. And that goes back to what you were saying. It's like that's what the divine eventually does when you want to go higher in these higher vibrations of light. It will first show you where it is that you're trying to control, and the divine will simply say, no, you're not in control here, and wait for you to finally surrender into that, so you can finally be in the divine flow. And and it's been a very challenging time, but it's also been very powerful. It's also been a very powerful time of surrender for me. As this is a time of waiting, a time of gestation, of building my healing practice, and again, confronting a new level of fear, so I can go back to that flow, sort of like release control, release control, surrender, go back into the flow, and there'll probably be another level somewhere down the line too. It's just this is where I am now. Just eventually the divine just placed me in that place, saying, got to work here. If you got to move forward, that's where it is. Surrender, and you can go back into the flow again. So another level. Surrender is more than one level. Got to surrender here now, Simon, and then I can go back into the flow. It's a very challenging time, as I'm sure it's a very challenging time for everyone.
Yeah. As you're talking about surrender, it has me want to ask you, like, what do you experience when your clients undergo a healing? Like, is there something that becomes very present in your reality as well? As they are transforming and transitioning, do you what is that experience for you like?
Oh, well, I reassure all my clients there is nothing that they will go through after a vortex healing session that I have not gone through so many times. But okay, I channel the divine healing essences, which releases the blocks very powerfully. I tell them you will definitely experience a very powerful healing release. Whatever needs to come up, whether it's sadness or pain or negative emotions, that will definitely come up. But vortex healing also releases the negative conditioning that creates a negative reality. That's what divine consciousness does. So I tell them to be aware that they will experience powerful shifts in their outer reality, especially when the release of karma has taken place, the release of karmanons. Those are very powerful blocks that contain a karmic issue, which is like a negative situation or a negative pattern. And when you release it and awaken it at its core, that also creates the karmic issue that you're going through creates immediate fast forward to its immediate resolve. So I tell them, be aware that you're going to experience a lot of powerful shifts, situations that no longer serve you start to end, people in your life who no longer serve you, those start to end, new situations come in. That's like the price of admission. Just like when you really want to take a huge leap, you have to get ready for that upheaval at times. But I also tell people that, people get a little intimidated by that aspect, and I know intuitively when to say, okay, this person needs really a deep unblocking, or I think that's but but other people need something a little more gentle and nurturing. Uh, 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 Sometimes starting out with just maybe they have a very weak system, and just starting a few sessions with just healing and replenishing and rebuilding their energy system, rebuilding and replenishing the energy of their organs and systems, just things like that. But all of it is very powerful.
Yeah. So it sounds like you go into like diagnostic mode first. Is
Oh yeah,
that
definitely. Yeah, when a person is sitting in front of me and they're talking, that's I know that my intuition is immediately turned on, and I just sort of like simply wait to hear the ding. That's what I call it. The ding. Where to go? Where to go? Some people may come in and feel generally depressed, and they're not exactly sure what is making them depressed. I'll just ask a couple of questions. I'll just ask a couple of questions, and wait intuitively to see what the core of that may be. But there are other times in which intuitively I'll get the sense of, let's just wait until they're on the table, my massage table, and see what I can sense intuitively. And intuitively, the issue maps itself out there as well. But no, I'm very lucky on that I do have a very strong intuitive perception, because uh, I'm constantly being guided about where to go, where to heal, uh, the clarification of the healing, and how the exact wording of the healing in terms of how it's clarified. That's always powerful. Definitely a lot of channeled information goes through me, because there are times in which I'm giving them intuitive advice, and a part of me is listening to myself and go, "Wow, that was really good," and that's definitely channeled. That's definitely channeled advice, and of course on the on the table, like I know I'm sensing the guides and angels. They're all just all around me, helping and guiding. The healing space is an incredible space.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What is your space like in the West Village?
It's nice. It's nice. It's got great dimensions for people to come in. The healing space. It's all decorated with nice pictures and candles, and uh, just just perfect to. I don't know if this is the correct angle, but I'm just trying to get away from the the sun just totally wiping my face out. Uh, but yeah, I really make sure that the space just really feels wonderful and relaxing and meditative, and I don't haven't gotten many complaints so far.
Nice. Are there any particular allies, that you use to help guide your work? Like perhaps does your art help out? Do you use anything like bells or incense or anything of that sort?
Um, uh, I've gotten very good. I guess I would call it. I guess I would call it soul reading. Uh, it was all very intuitive, because it wasn't even an idea that, or it wasn't really even an idea that anyone ever gave me. I just say, look at that, look. And when I look into a person's eyes, the issue sort of reveals itself there. And when a person is truly open, I'm really able to go deep into a person's soul, and just see it all mapped there. That's a very I I'm always excited to get to the vortex healing, but doing that type of reading where I just look into their eyes, and I just see uh, the information of their soul, what they need to see, just map itself out. that's pretty beautiful. Just showing what issues that need to be confronted, past lives, what their higher self needs to know in that space. Also their guides comes forth. It's a very powerful gift to do that, just to see on that soul level. It's very beautiful.
Absolutely. And a bit of a personal question, but being that you're able to see other people in that way, is there anyone that you allow in your life to see you in that way?
Yes, that uh, that would definitely be my twin flame. Her name is Snow. She definitely knows me on a very deep level. I definitely can't hide from her for the very obvious reasons that she is my twin flame. Uh, and we definitely we definitely feel each other even in long distance. It's a very powerful thing because the concept of the twin flame is more than just that lovely spiritual fantasy of one soul becoming two. I think it's a little more complex. It's a little more complex than that because I don't think that matters as much as that this particular soulmate connection, twin flame connection, is just your deepest reflection of the divine. And sometimes it's a beautiful thing. Sometimes it's a very, very difficult thing because the mirror is much more intense. So yeah, that has been a very powerful, intimate experience for me.
Amazing. So there's a few different ways that people can reach you to experience your modalities. And I'm very fortunate to have experienced two different ways seeing you in person. And also, I believe that do you still hold groups?
Yes, yes. I have two healings coming. One coming up on 17th with my colleague, Mr. Joel Elfman. That's a wonderful combination where he does a hypnotic guided meditation, and I channel the divine healing energies. It's sometimes a general healing, but it's also very powerful. And then I have another group healing coming up on the 23rd. That's called Healing Family Wounds. Uh, and the issues that I choose are very intuitive. It's definitely aligned with what people need at the time. So I was going down this list of issues, and healing family wounds was what was calling. So that will be a very intense group healing. Okay, what's really cool about being on the highest level uh, is that vortex healing is always evolving. It's never one thing. It's always evolving, becoming stronger, becoming deeper. And there was a time in which there was a lot of limitation to what you could do long distance, but on this level, the limitations are very few, and that's what it's like even for a group healing right now. And so, so that's gonna be a very powerful healing to just go very deep to heal those deep family wounds, and bring healing there and peace to wherever anyone needs it.
Yeah. How does a person prepare for that? Like, do they bring questions or a journal or?
Um, I I like it when people share a little bit of what they would want to get out of the healing. Uh, this I know, and when people come into a group, the people who come in are all there synchronicity are all there aligned uh, with the same purpose. I've had I've had so many groups where people come in and just coincidentally uh, talk about they want to heal all the same issue. It's a wonderful synchronicity, and when people and I allow people to talk and I allow people to share, and I, I I can give people quick readings, quick individual healings. But what also happens is that an issue that comes up, which reveals, which which can create a catalyst to create a deeper healing, or can create an insight which the entire group needs to heal. There's all this lovely synchronicity going on in the groups.
Got it. Yeah, I got it. So even though you're based in New York, people can access you from all over the world.
Yes. Now that, oh yeah, it's quite something when people reach out for you. Like I've had people reach out to me from Africa, from Europe, from Canada. God bless the internet. No, but no, I'm constantly advertising. I was very happy to see it one time that when you put in vortex healing in Google search, that you see a lot of me. I'm like, really? Uh, I always enjoyed that part because the vortex healing was just so powerfully aligned with me. I was just like, what, this energy healing modality is just so powerful. I don't I don't I don't I don't it was hard to see anything else that could compare to it. So because I know a lot of other energy healers, do vortex healing aligned with a lot of other energy healing modalities, but I really enjoyed the focus of what it could do.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of, like, we're talking this whole thing up. I'm really curious. Would you be willing to do a demo while you're here?
A demo with you two, or with the people. How many people have joined so far? I'll be happy to include both you and any other people who have joined in. Can you see how many people that have come in?
We have people that are coming in and out. So the number is fluctuating. But right now we have a couple of additional individuals.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's it. Okay. I'm going to, all right. I'm going to activate what is called to Merlin's healing grid. This is a beautiful healing technique that you receive in the second certification called the Magical Structures class. You connect with this beautiful grid of divine healing essence created by Merlin, and you can put situations and issues and people into the grid for healing. So I'll do that now. All right. First, I'll activate to the grid. Grid. All right, I'm putting everyone into the grid. All right. I'm going to ask the grid to heal and release all that is blocking peace. Okay, the grid is continuing to do this, but I want to add a little more, add a little more proactive manifestation uh, for you, for both of you. I want you to both think of an issue in your life which you would like to have, which you think you would like to have more awareness on. Would you like to expand your awareness on? Just keep that in mind, and I will manifest the magical quality of divine awareness into that issue. And that's probably a wonderful thing that vortex healing does. It just brings powerful awareness. All right, so think of what you would like to bring more awareness to. Just just naturally allow the insights to come up, just intuitively. Okay, it is now stopping. Would you like to share what you experienced?
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge the comments. Someone just joining us. I don't know what I walked in on, but it's interesting. Yes. Welcome, Quay. Welcome, Deborah. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Just to recap for those who are coming in here, Simon just demoed. Actually, instead of me recapping, Simon, would you like to recap what was just performed here?
I was giving a demonstration of what vortex healing does. It's a very magical healing modality. I first put Kayandel into the grid, what is called a magical healing grid. When people are enveloped into this magical grid, you can bring healing with a specific intention. So I just put them both into the grid for just to bring them more peace, to unblock what was blocking. And then I channeled a divine essence of awareness to bring awareness into an issue in which they had chosen.
Thank you. Thank you. Quite profound.
Yeah, that was just a small taste. If we went deeper, we could. If we went deeper, I could only describe just how deep the release of blocks goes. But this is just one aspect of it. It just how it just sort of like beautifully and quite powerfully just raises your vibration in lovely divine ways.
Got it. Got it. When you first started, what I experienced was my thoughts slowed down, like literally like a cartoon. It was like, whoa.
Yes, that's what I experienced. The first time I had a vortex healing by someone else, I sank into their couch. It was like, it was like, sunken place. It was cool, but but not scary. It was beautiful.
Yeah. My consciousness felt like a marshmallow, like I was being like smooshed. But what when I asked intuitively, like what's going on, it's like that I was being put in direct contact with a morphogenetic field. I was like, whoa, I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna mention it and let Simon know.
A morphogenetic field.
That it was just like a melding of the pieces of me into just I want to say just like kindness. Like I just melted into kindness for a moment.
Beautiful. That was from the grid, or that was from the awareness that was illuminated?
The awareness brought up just more things that I could do to be kind to myself, in regards to self-care. And I think that was related to the first conversation that we had some years ago, which was awesome that I could all of a sudden remember what was said then. So it's very cool.
Del, would you like to share what you experienced?
Yeah, this brings me back to something that this is something I integrate for myself and believe of the infinite past infinite. So, and with this one, it really felt like a vortex, like going up a spiral, up in different levels.
People do see the vortex. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was me, and it reminded me of my own practice, what I do, in which I just get to this part of dissolving myself and merging into this oneness space, and it helped me to get there. And then right when I got there is when you said, all right, I'm going to increase the awareness. So when you increase the awareness in the space, I'm like, whoa, okay, now this is getting very, very interesting. And when you asked the part of think about one thing that you like to get this heightened awareness to, this answer that came to me in the moment was nothing. I just want to be in this awareness right now. And I was just enjoying it, and I surrendered to it, just saying whatever needs to come into this heightened awareness and let it come. But like, wow, this is next level. This is your magic. This is your magic. It's very magical.
No, what you said reminded me of about the issue of awareness, because it's more than just the issue of awareness on your issues. That's a reflection into the illusion, which will eventually illuminates itself.
Yeah.
But yes, in the awakening classes which I have taken, my teacher and the founder of Vortex Healing, Rick Wyman, said that eventually you will reach this level of awareness where you realize there's nothing you need to do. There's nothing that you need to do, and there's nothing you need to do. There's nothing need to be said. There's no place you need to go. All you realize is that you are just one in this moment. And that happened one time. It happened one time, and it happened at a Chipotle. Of all places.
You became one with the Chipotle?
I became one in the realization of this pure being, where there was nothing I needed. I was just in this place of pure being, where there was no push or pull or grasping or controlling. It was just this being that all is in this moment. It's very beautiful. That is pure awareness right there.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. You.
I'd be happy to answer any more questions, any more intuitive questions.
And also, like, I'm drenched in sweat now. Like, I just ran a mile. Like, whew.
Yeah. Okay. And that is an aspect of what vortex healing does. Not only does it release blocks, release trauma, release emotional blocks and karma, it creates very powerful clarity and awareness around issues, because that's what it does, because it's freeing it from this illusion of separation. So that's a very another powerful aspect of what vortex healing does. And just like the amount of clarity and awareness, you sometimes people realize something's wrong, but they're not sure. It's like, they're too close to the trees to see the forest. But after vortex healing, you just see the big picture, and the big picture, and also the big picture of what the issue is doing and how to get out of it and where it is coming from. That is the gift of that type of divinity, the amount of clarity and awareness that it brings you.
Yeah. When someone is in that space that you just took us in that heightened awareness for wherever they come to you with whatever they feel is the quote unquote issue they're dealing with, is there like a powerful release that happens, like a cry or so? Because it reminds me of doing like a plant medicine journey in which like there's nowhere you can go. You're bringing your awareness fully into what's here in the moment type of thing. So I can only imagine like what happens for a person who's with you and they come with a current issue they're dealing with, and you bring that heightened awareness and the release that does happen with them having so much awareness now from not being in it, but being the awareness that's aware of it.
Yes, this is where I take a lot of responsibility of what happens after a healing session, because like I said, it creates a very powerful accelerated release, and so therefore there is a big emotional catharsis. Sometimes it is intense. So I tell people, people, especially when they come in with issues that involve trauma. I said, if the release becomes a little intense, please call me, and I will continue to sending you grounding and integration. Because and I can definitely do that. I can definitely help. The integration I can channel help stabilize and smooth the transition. But I definitely remember this one friend of mine. He was ready for the healing, and that is what I know. Because if you are not ready for the healing, Merlyn or the divine will do everything in its power to make sure you don't get the healing. That's just it's a simple. I mean, so that's that. If you're not ready for the healing, the universe will do everything to stop you from doing it. But he was ready, but he didn't realize he was ready. And so when he experienced his first healing release, he found it so daunting, and the issue of trauma and pain, in which he so expertly avoided all his life, was, like I said, right there. There was no escaping it. There was no escaping it. And he's just like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of feeling this. He was still in that resistance, but the resistance was also releasing too. I just need to take a break from it. And I said, no, you need to stop saying that, okay? Because you've already had your time of resistance. I mean, so many years you have resisted, you have avoided, you have deflected, you have subjugated it, you have made excuses. This is what now the healing is doing, okay? And I definitely give them integration, and it will definitely pass. But that's how powerful it is. That's you know uh, in order to heal it, you have to feel it. But a great quote from one of my first vortex healing teachers: "They are called healing, not feel bettering." That I just love that. It just definitely just bring things into reality, because sometimes we're not here to. The healing is not there to make you feel better. The healing is there to make you more real and more courageously accepting and embracing of where you are right now. You're not resisting the moment, but are you resisting the pain that you need to feel?
Makes a lot of sense.
Definitely. I'd be happy to ask any questions from anyone watching.
If there's anyone here who'd like to ask a question, please feel free to type it in the chat. The chat is always available to you, even after this live stream is complete. I'd like to go through and just see if there are any questions that are there, and we're happy to bring them to Simon. Do you have something you want to ask?
Yeah, I wanted to just reiterate what Simon just mentioned with his friend he did the work with, and also what a lot of people may potentially be looking for, that one quick fix type of thing. Like, okay, I'm going to do this one time and that's it. But from the experience that you just mentioned, it's bringing up what needs to get brought up in the moment, and there could potentially be some integration. Well, it's always integration, but from that one moment, it's a process that happens from there. And it's also amazing how where you are, because that just proves that you are in that oneness field. You send the grounded energy for them to help ground themselves for wherever they are.
Definitely. I could definitely share many different experiences, because I definitely have a good story related to my own ego, which I was experiencing in the beginning of my practice. I met up with this one individual who was in charge of a holistic online magazine, and I said, okay, do an article on me, and I'll give you a healing for free. And I gave him the healing, and it was a very powerful healing. I was like seeing this. I was seeing this lovely vision of the soil and the earth, and how this healing was just planting the seeds very deeply in his soul, and for him to bring powerful growth in his future. And I remember when he came in, his energy was kind of weak. His energy was kind of weak. He was looking a little stressed, a little exhausted. And I called him if he wanted to do a second interview. And he goes, "Sorry, Simon, I didn't feel anything." And I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable about doing another healing if I'm not feeling anything. And so I see him. So I run into him at an event about a few months later, and he is looking great. I mean, he looks utterly transformed. And I would love to take credit for this, but I knew I couldn't. But I would love to have taken credit for it. And that was a very good lesson that was a very good lesson. I think a lot of lesson which a lot of healers have to, I think, go through, especially at the beginning, that these healings aren't for you. These healings are not for you. They're not here to make you feel good or satisfied about outcomes. They are there for the 100% for the needs of the client. And that is one of the things I definitely learned at the beginning of my healing practice, to let go of all expectations. Because sometimes you do see very powerful results, and that's the majority of time. Thank God that I do see very powerful results from my clients. But there are times in which uh, issues are very insidious. They're very, very insidious. They're very stubborn, and even though it's very powerful, you can at least have faith that you have shaken something loose and planted seeds, very powerful divine seeds within their being, that creates the change and transformation in the future. So that's the one thing that I definitely learned as a healing. Put aside all your expectations. It's not about you. This is not about feeling good about yourself. You're not in control of this. You're not in control of what you're being channeled. What's being channeled here.
Amen, brother. Yeah, that's something I went through in my own journey as well, providing service with expectations,
Mhm.
and letting go of the expectations allows even a more powerful experience when you let go, because you're just here to fully serve unconditionally in those moments. And what you said with planting the seed, because planting that seed, you might not even see that plant sprout up, but
Exactly.
then like you're mentioning, you ran into the person who was way more amazing than when you met with them before. And sometimes that happens too when people, oh, I don't feel anything, type of thing. It reminded me once again, because I sat in plant medicine ceremonies. People were like, oh, I didn't feel anything. I didn't, because it, for those people, they had it set to happen a certain way, and there was focus on this happening this way. This is what's going to be a great experience for me. But then it happened another way of planting that seed, and they didn't see it. But then months later, like, oh my God.
Yes. Another great story that I had, which again, what divides their expectations. Another client came in. This client named Melissa, who she was experiencing such horrible stress and unhappiness at her job, and that's what the issue all seemed to be around. And so I said, okay, we'll do issues around your job and maybe around the issues of abundance. And by the second or third healing, I began to see something beautiful arise in her, which she wasn't seeing at all. I was feeling the essence of her soul, and it was so beautiful. This beautiful, beautiful golden essence just emoting out of her. It was just so beautiful and rich, and I had to bring it to her attention. And I said, are you feeling what I'm feeling?" And she basically replies, "No, I'm not feeling that. Could we do more healings on my boss? I really hate him." And I was just like, wow, okay. And and after that, all the times in which she came back, I would feel that beautiful golden essence from her soul just come out. It's so intoxicating, but she wasn't feeling it. And I think that was a very good aspect of what that helped sort of define my issue of what releasing a block is. Because sometimes when we think of releasing a block, we think of going really deep within the layers. The light or the answer is underneath all these layers of pain and junk. But for her, it was a matter of perspective. It was like I was feeling it. It was like it was it was not exactly what was blocked, but what she was taught. It was like it was like the beauty of her soul. You could sense it if you looked in this direction, but she had taught to not look at it, so she was not looking at it, and she was constantly looking away from it from this direction, and it was all about it. She was taught not to see it.
Hmm.
And then I'm sure you probably and maybe have that one friend or loved one in your life where you see what's so beautiful about them, but they're not seeing. That's another aspect of sort of like putting aside your expectations, because you're not just unblocking things, you're also helping to help them see it, which sometimes is just right there on the surface.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. That was a really powerful story.
Yeah. Stories.
Simon, now that you've given everyone such a full scope experience of who you are and what you do, now where can people find you?
You can find me on my webpage, simondeacon.com. You'll find me there. I'm also on Instagram, Simon Deacon 777. On Facebook, Divine Energy Healing with Simon. Shall I put my information in the chat?
Sure, if you'd like to. We've also got your website in there, so people can click on that if they would like to see you, find you, book a session, be a part of your online group healings.
Yes, I got 2 group healings coming up. I also got there's also a free event coming up, I believe, on the 28th. I'll be talking at my friend Russell's lovely Zoom event while people will be sharing their stories, and I'll be giving another a nice demo of Merlyns healing grid called the Planetary Puja. Like I said, I have a group healing coming up on the 17th, another which is tomorrow. You can find those group healings on my on Facebook. Then there's also my group healing on the 23rd, and for the vortex healing private sessions, I do either in person or on Zoom or on Skype. It's 125 for a 1-hour session, 165 for 2 hours, and I also do like a package deal because, like I said, I think you get the full experience of healing on all levels with like a three healing session. So I just I give a little package deal where you get a discount on the 3rd session. So I think I'm reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone take advantage of the opportunity to learn more about Simon and also how you can help yourself. If you're looking to find healing, simondeacon.com. Simon, this has been an amazing experience.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be back.
Welcome back.
I would love to be part of your panels again. I had so much fun. Be back on that too if you will have me.
Thank you for bringing it up. I'd love to organize another one. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Great.
Awesome. And to everybody who's listening, thank you so much for being here and for contributing to the conversation and just being a part of the community. Like, you really make a difference. And also, stay magical, everyone.
Praise be.
You've been listening to our Daily Magic Podcast with Kai and Del. Please like, subscribe, and tune in next week for another magical episode. Visit www.ourdailymagic.com for more. Thank you for listening and have a magical day.